For today, I would love to talk about the movie Joker 2. I was able to watch it yesterday on streaming, and I had to think about it for a day to kind of really gather my thoughts for this review of this movie. Before I give you my review of Joker 2, I was kind of give you the gist of this movie. Of course, this is a sequel from the first Joker in 2019 that grossed $1 billion. In that time period, I thought it was the best movie of the year, in my humble opinion. The budget was very small, and it grossed to be $1 billion success. I was hoping they would not have a sequel, but here we are. But I wouldn't be too mad at it. But as you know, some sequels, everybody calls it a cash grab, and usually it's not as good as the first one, right? So as the days and months followed, they was telling you updates about the sequel to Joker. Found out it's going to be a musical. Just like everybody else, I was kind of curious of why and how they're going to put it into the story. And secondly, heard that it's going to be a $200 million budget for this movie as well. My previous videos you might have seen, I was complaining about this, that why would it have to be $200 million of a budget for a sequel to a Joker that was successful with a low budget. I think it was $40 to $50 million budget for it. But that's beside the point. So I had all intended purposes to watch this movie in theaters. I actually bought a ticket, but something came up and I was unable to go. So I had to wait for it to be released digitally. While I was waiting, I didn't watch any reviews or anybody's opinions. I watched one streamer said something about it, and he did not review it per se, but he gave me perspective on something. And I will talk about that in a moment. But the other YouTubers that I follow on this platform, I didn't check out their reviews. I just can tell their opinion on any movie or show by the title of their video and the thumbnail. So a lot of times I usually know what their opinion is before they even say one word. And for my research, majority of people, a lot of people I should say, hated this movie. So I was thinking, okay, if everybody hates it, it must be a pretty bad movie, right? Well, before I get into my review, I'm just give you the straight to the point. I liked this movie. I did. I don't know why I got so much hate, to be honest with you. Now, hear me out. Disclaimer. I don't know why I have to say this, but I'm going to say it just in case somebody comes in the comments and say something. But I am not a comic book person. I don't read the comic books. Never have, never will. I'll watch the comic book movies, and that's all I do. I'm not the best, reviewer, I guess, or I'm just a person who loves movies and that loves to talk about movies. And I love stories. Who doesn't, right? So before I went into this movie, I've been waiting for since 2019 and wondering what kind of story they'll tell. And also, while I was waiting for it to release digitally, I was hearing people don't like it, and I was thinking, man, why is it so bad, So after it was released, I was thinking, give me a day or so before I watched it, because I want to go in with a clean slate, with no expectations, and I want to have just a neutral perspective of anything like this kind of movie. That's what I try to do. And before I clicked on it, I saw that the ratings for this, it was like 32% rotten for the critics, 32% that was the audience. I was like, well, wow, that's crazy too. And I clicked on it, and like I said just a moment ago, I actually liked this movie a lot. It was better than I expected. Was it better than the first one? No. Now, what that streamer I said earlier, it was Ethan from Comic Book Pro Secrets. He said that it was kind of like the first one is the crime, second one is the punishment. Or you can say is a 4-hour movie put together, and that's 100% correct. And that is how I saw this, and I 100% agree with Ethan with this movie. It definitely is. The first one was a little bit of a slow burn, but this one's really like a slow burn. It was shot amazingly. I don't know if that's where the money went or what, but it was. I didn't feel. There was a couple scenes, maybe one scene, that it felt really drawn out too much. They could have shaved off a minute or two of that one. But majority of the 2 hours and 14 minutes wasn't that bad. It didn't feel that long. So basically, this is with any spoilers. And I'll give you a little bit of maybe an asterisk of maybe spoilers if you don't want nothing to know about this movie. So the general storyline is Arthur Fleck is in this insane asylum waiting to go to the court to be charged for his crime, so he has to go to the jury and all that. In the meantime, he's normal mindset. He is not the Joker. He's drugged up, keeping the Joker at bay. So he's walking around with the corrections officers, and he turns right, and Harley Quinn, played by Lady Gaga, is in another room, and she kind of looks, kind of have a second glance. They meet eyes, and Arthur Fleck is taken off guard that she is interested in him. And that is basically when it starts kind of going towards something, and I'll explain in a minute. So mostly it's them two talking and socializing and all that kind of stuff, right? In the meantime, also, he's going to court, and they're trying to, his lawyer is trying to trying to get him to say he's got split personalities. He didn't know what he did, so on and so forth. So they can plead that, so he don't have the death penalty and he don't have to go to a prison. And that's basically what happens. And there's other things happen, and I'm not going to go details to ruin that particular story. Now, if you don't want any spoilers allowed, this is just very light spoilers. But this is what I really kind of liked about the movie. I would say it really walked away. I really felt this movie. So I have to give you a little bit of a perspective. So I'm going to go back to the first Joker. The first Joker, what I liked about it was you go on a journey with Arthur Fleck, and you see how he's feeling. He's getting beat up by the world. He's getting picked on, all this stuff. And you see him slowly turn into the dark side. You slowly see him get into the Joker mentality. And the whole time, I'm rooting for Arthur Fleck to not go to the dark side. Because I remember it in the theaters in my head. I was like, don't go to the dark side. Don't do it. Come back to the light, And that's what I was doing, even though I knew he was going to be the Joker eventually. Well, in this sequel, with Harley Quinn, she doesn't really like Arthur Fleck. She loves Joker, and she wants the Joker, not Arthur Fleck. But Arthur, at one point, you can just tell he's depressed. He's just there. He's going through the motions, whatever, emotion he does have because he's drugged up. At that point, when he locked eyes on Harley Quinn, he felt differently. He felt like, oh wow, somebody loves me for who I am. But the whole time, you can tell that Harley Quinn is not like that. She wants Joker, not Arthur. Even his lawyer says, she's fake. She just wants Joker. She don't love you, And he's like, "Oh, you don't know her. You don't know how our relationship is." Back and forth, kind of like that. And so basically, that's how you can see. Even at one point, they was kissing and making out before they even start. Harley Quinn wanted Arthur to put on the Joker makeup, so she had some makeup in her pocket to put on his face. And once he put the makeup on his face, then she started making out with him. So that shows you that she didn't really care about Arthur. All she cared about Joker. And that was the main thing of a lot of, the outside influences of these people who love Joker but not Arthur. And that's it kind of in how I viewed this movie is Arthur just wanted somebody to love him. Even though he was broken, he was whatever you might say. And he thought he felt or finally found that person who loved him for who he was. But that was false because she just loved him for Joker. And that's basically the gist of that movie. Now, there's things that happen after, during the court and after the stuff. That's heavy spoilers, so I'm going to stick away from that. And the musical that was sprinkled in, it's not full-blown musical. I thought it was going to be full-blown musical. It's not that bad. It's not really they didn't write for the script for certain words. It was basically pop music in there. Not modern day. It was kind of older kind of music. But it was in Arthur's mind or / Joker's mind when he was singing with, of course, Lady Gaga. Now, with certain times, they was singing together in reality, but not as the main thing as in his fantasy. And it also ties into how he's feeling at that moment in the scene, and it kind of gives you you kind of dive into his mental capacity and what he thinks and feels at that moment. Like I said, most of it was really good. I wasn't upset about it, but there was like one scene. You'll probably know when she was walking up to the Joker and then you see the moon in the background. That was a little bit. They probably could shave off 30 seconds to a minute of that. It was just a little bit too much, but not bad. Not to say it was a horrible scene, but it was just like, okay, that's a little too much. Come on, let's get through it. Kind of feel for me. And honestly, again, this movie, I would recommend it. I really would. It's not as bad as people. I mean, everybody has opinion in anything, right? Any movies, shows, restaurants, teams, whatever, basketball team, everybody has opinion. And for myself, I would recommend it, but I would tell people have a low expectations, and I'll tell them if it had a lot of cussing or a lot of blood or something like that, people care about that, and it don't have a lot of that. I have some themes stuff you might have to look away, but not that bad. And I would recommend it. I really would. I would revisit this movie. This movie, even though a lot of people hating on it, I think it's got legs. I think it will be maybe not as popular, as big as the first one, but it still has its own story. It's basically a 4-hour story of Arthur Fleck and the Joker. And like what Ethan from Comic Book Quote Secrets said, it's, the crime versus the punishment. You reap what you sow kind of thing. And it ended, I'm not going to tell you how it ended, but it does kind of understand that premise. So how I would grade this movie is, like I said before 1,000 times, but I always make sure if you're new here, how I grade it. What kind of experience is it? Is a convenience store experience, a fast food experience, or a sit-down restaurant experience? This one for me was a sit-down restaurant experience. Very, very nice restaurant. It's themed very well. The food was made a little different than I expected, but all very good. Very nice waiters, very good atmosphere, very nice service, very top-notch service. Because the movie definitely was like a very, very well done. Which it's always good with that director, Todd Phillips. He definitely knows how to do them shots. But it is definitely highly recommended. It's just so kind of getting away from that, I'm going to have a little bit of just a small little event. And this is not against nobody in particular. It's just in general. This is a good example. This movie, I liked it, right? This is the reason I have this YouTube channel. 100%. Because most people on this platform, not all, most of them would follow the same narrative. This movie sucks. This is the reason, and they dissect it, and they all kind of have the same opinion, right? And I'm not liking this just to be different. I like it because I liked it. Like I told you a moment ago, I go in cold. I go in neutral to have just a clean slate perspective of each movie and show, so I can give you authentic opinions. Because I think some people watch other people's opinion and then they get their opinion with their opinion, if that makes sense. But one more thing, and I was going to do this review yesterday, but I was really trying to find the right words. But today's a good day to find that right word for it. So back in the day, it always was the media would tell you how this movie is great, and when you watch it, not so great. Same thing with critics and stuff. They say, "Oh, this is great," or "It sucks." And when you watch it, it's great. It's great. It's not sucks. It's great, right? It's that kind of. If the critic says it's great, or it sucks. If the critic says it's great, then I have to watch it. Usually, it sucks, right? Very rare if I agree with the critics. Now it seems like they doing their thing. People who say it sucks, most chances I probably like it. I mean that's I wouldn't say every time. But usually if they say it sucks and this, and they just get on the hill and just spread whatever what kind of opinion, which is fine. I'm saying, okay, if they think it sucks, then I will see if their opinion is valid, in my opinion. And usually it's not. And that's fine. That's what's great about this platform. We all can have a certain perspective. We could all have a certain view of a movie or show. We don't have to be hateful of one another. And I really, that's for myself, I always like to search out perspectives. And they can say the same thing over and over again and say, well, this person did this is the reason it sucks, and that's fine. But like I said, I just go in cold, and if I like it, I like it. You can't, that's my opinion. It's not fact, right? But anywho, I know that's a little bit of a rant. I do apologize for that long rant, but I just really wanted to share that with you to see what you all think. Am I out of line? I mean, am I wrong? And if I'm genuinely curious, if you watched it, what was your expectations of it, and what was your opinion of it? And if you hated it, why? And also, if you liked it, tell me why you liked it about it. All right, I appreciate you all staying here with me, and I'll talk to y'all next time. And you all have a fantastic day.